I was 17, got to rock bottom, if you want to call it that. I was like, what else do I do? So through my eating disorder, I found my purpose.
Meet Katie Harrison, the powerhouse and entrepreneur behind Internal Glow Up. At just 24 years old, Katie has transformed her personal challenges into a thriving business, creating planners and stationery that empower business owners to break down their projects into simple, achievable steps. Katie's journey wasn't without struggle and obstacles. As a teenager, she faced self-doubt, an eating disorder, and imposter syndrome, which left her feeling at rock bottom. Through resilience and self-discovery, she found her purpose and now shares her tools with business owners worldwide.
I call it small task list. So small task list is anything up to 10 minutes, reply to that email, reply to that message, or upload that story, whatever. And then I take that list and an hour in the morning, do that whole list. Tick. You get a sense of achievement, validation, reward, you're on fire. And then my important task list is like my main focuses for the day. It is life-changing.
Katie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure. I'm really excited for our chat today. I am really intrigued to hear more about what you do, why you do it. What was it that made you get into the world of mindset coaching and creating products for business owners?
Okay, so if we go all the way back, so I've just turned 24 the other day, so I'm still a baby, but if we go back to when I was at school, so when I was at school, classic, struggled to fit in, but I was always an ambitious kid who did everything. Like I would spend my lunch times running dance classes, like I'd be researching how to go to university in America. Like I was that kid that would literally had huge dreams. Like I didn't feel average at school. But on the flip side of that comes feeling like you don't fit in and you don't belong and you're just not like these people. And I struggled a lot with low self-worth, low confidence. And as a result of that, and putting a lot of pressure on myself in school as well to do well. And as a result of that, I developed an eating disorder, which I had through school and struggled massively with. So I actually eventually, after struggling with that for ages, coming home from school just crying, never feeling like I really fit in at all. I kept it a secret from everyone for a year, and then I was got to rock bottom, if you want to call it that. I literally was what else do I do to get out of this? So I actually wrote a letter to my mum and dad on the way to school saying how much I was struggling with, how I have an eating disorder, and I was scared of it was that embarrassing feeling because no one knew and I just pretended that everything was fine. So I wrote them a letter and then I went to get therapy. So
how old was you at this point? I
was 17 at this point. So and then going into my A-levels. So it really impacted my A-levels. So even A-levels, I was predicted 2 A stars, A, and then when in comes the eating disorder, grades go down again, high achiever, perfectionism, everything, that felt shit. So anyway, I wrote them a letter, Obviously, of course, they understood, but 17, you don't feel like that. You feel like you're alone. You feel like no one really understands, no one gets it, and you feel abnormal. And I felt so abnormal. So I wrote them a letter anyway and went to get therapy. And then we drove to this in-person therapist thing. In I go, as vulnerable as anything at 17, really struggling, hit my bottom, I really need help. Oh, you'll be on the waiting list for 6 months. I was like, I cannot go through this for another 6 months. Are you kidding me? So anyway, luckily and very fortunately ended up going private. So obviously my therapist helped me with my self-worth and eating and all this sort of stuff. And I started journaling, and it sounds so sad, but I journaled about what life would be like without an eating disorder. And it's quite sad. And another exercise I would do is I would journal 20 things I love about myself every single day. Now, when your mental health and your mood's down here, that is very difficult. It would take me ages to do it, but I did it and I committed to it every single day for 6 months. And things started to feel better, and I started to feel better. And I was like, okay, actually, I can change. Things can be better. So I decided to do a YouTube series of 10 ways to shift your mindset for an internal glow up, hence the brand name Internal Glow Up. So obviously then everyone at school finds out that you have an eating disorder, and in come hundreds and hundreds of messages after doing this series about how to change your mindset and how to journal and how, and opening up about my struggles. And I had hundreds of messages, and it was that moment. And I was like, this feels so right. I found my purpose.
Wow.
So through my eating disorder, I found my purpose. And they were like, oh my God, I've told my mum that I've struggled with a relationship with food. I've now opened up to my mum. You've made me feel less alone. All this, you really helped me. And then I always knew as a high achiever and ambitious, and I was like, I don't want to work for anyone else. I always knew I wanted a business, but I didn't know what that business was. And it was that moment someone went to me, why don't you just make a journal? So I made my journal. Anyway, sold that, And then I went to university and I studied neuroscience and psychology. And I absolutely loved that. Like, I was a studier at heart. But again, never really felt like I fit in because I wasn't the typical uni student. Like, I would sit in my bedroom and I'd rather work. Like, that's who I was. So then I started like writing my to-do lists on pieces of paper. And then I was like, why am I writing on a piece of paper? I'll get a planner. And then I was like, hold a minute, why do I need to buy someone else's planner? I'll make my own. And that's when the planners came in and, you know, I think it was last year, TikTok blew up. And again, I woke up to like hundreds of orders at 3 a.m. I had a feeling, it was really weird. I had this feeling. I was like, and I just woke up.
Your
and
higher self knocked on your door, baby.
No,
like,
she
she's
was
like,
in there.
Get up, I've got something to show you.
I
get
that.
it all the time. Yeah, I get it. Middle of the night, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock. She goes, knock, knock, knock. Build the sales page. I'm like, fuck's sake.
Go and do it.
I got coffee. Yeah.
I love that. So anyway, yeah, so I did that. And then, so in university, I then invested into a mindset coach. But because I had huge fear of failure, like I absolutely shit myself. Like it felt like the scariest thing ever. I invested all of my savings, everything that I'd saved from my christening all the way up to when I was last year, so 23. And I couldn't even afford to make the next month's back. But I was like, I have no other choice. I have this huge dream. I have this business that I want to be this person. And the only thing that stopped me is my fear of failure, like huge future anxiety. So I invested in her and oh my God, like the minute I shifted that belief, I'm not good enough, which was driving the thoughts, I can't do it, I won't be successful, I won't be rich, which was driving the fear, my life changed. Like I showed up online with so much confidence. Like I was telling everyone that next year I'll have a multi-6-figure business and the year after I'll be a 7-figure business owner. I went to 10K months within 3 months. I ran an event and sold it out within 2 months, only 4 months into mindset coaching. Like I had so much confidence and then I've only been doing mindset coaching a year. I did hit the multi-6 figures. Next year we will be going to 7 figures. And I'm just about to run my biggest event in London, which is 3 times size of the last year's event.
How many people do you have at your events?
So last year when I first did it was 50 people and then this year will be 150. And I told everyone at that event, I said next year I'll be running this in London. Like, watch me. I'll do it.
Good. No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you was having the coaching then, the mindset coaching, and you kind of had this realisation that the driving belief was, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't just that second that you was like, oh, I've realised what it is now, let's fix it. There was work that needed to be done on that belief, wasn't there? So what did that look like? And how long did that take?
So I had mindset coaching. So basically that fear of failure, that fear that I won't make it drove behaviours like procrastination, comparison, like writing too many things on my to-do list so I'd never get it all done, which were all protective behaviours to stop me from going for it. So what I did, I had NLP, which is where we shift that belief, I'm not good enough, on a subconscious level. So it actually took me back to when I was 14. I was dancing in a dance studio, comparing myself to every other girl there, thinking I'm not good enough. And I went back there subconsciously as the adult of today.
NLP's powerful. I did my NLP diploma when I was 19.
It's incredible. And did that. And then every other belief that came up after that, like as I grew my business, so recently was just fear of success because I hit a certain level and then fear of success comes in and goes, you'll lose it all. And I'm like, motherfucker, no, I won't. So then I've just had to subconsciously reprogram all my beliefs and that's generally how I've grown my business.
Right, so it was more of uncovering the awareness as to what the problem was and then using subconscious reprogramming and kind of NLP work to kind of take you back to that timeline where them anchors were stored. NLP is great. It's very powerful. It's a really good bit of advice, really, because NLP is powerful, and you forget how many people actually offer NLP. And if you've got something that's niggling away at you, sometimes just like literally a few NLP sessions can get it gone.
It is life changing.
It literally is.
I had therapy. I've had NLP. 80% of my clients have quit therapy.
NLP is very powerful. I remember when I was having really bad panic attacks for years, and it was when I was driving, and I literally had some NLP done, and they set some anchors, and it just fucking literally went when I was driving.
It's the result.
Very powerful.
It's insane.
If it feels right to you and aligned to you, like have a look into it. So So you've been mindset coaching for a year now. So what do you typically tend to help people with? Like, what are the biggest challenges you see people facing?
Oh God. So if we're talking like business owners, fear of failure is generally the first one that we work on. And some people are like, oh, but I don't struggle with fear of failure. But then I'm like, but why do you spend half your time procrastinating or writing long to-do lists or avoiding things? Or, you say you want to run the events, but you're not doing it. And you say you'll do it next year and da-da-da. Because if you believed in yourself, you would do it. If you believe that people would turn up, you would do it. So fear of failure generally is the first one. Like fear of judgment online and imposter syndrome. So I see a lot of people with content, like if they have a mind blank when they come to make content, they're like, oh, I'm having a creative block or having a mind blank. No, your subconscious is protecting you from saying what you want to say online, because if you do say it and you get it wrong, or you do say it and it's not fun enough, or it's not, it's not smart enough, then that will confirm the limiting belief that you have about yourself. I'm not smart, I'm not intelligent, I'm boring, da-da-da-da. And that's where the mind blank comes in. So we look at all the behaviours that are stopping business owners from running the business and going for it and achieving these different things. And we look at the beliefs that's driving that. And another one then is when business owners get a certain level is the fear of success. Okay, well, if I grow the business, then I'm going to lose it all. I'm going to lose relationships. I'll lose myself. Another one is overwhelm. Overwhelm comes in because it blocks you from having more success. Because if you're overwhelmed now and you can't do the tasks now that would bring you more business, well, that's perfect then. Because if you did do those tasks and you did bring in more clients, you did bring more money, how are you going to handle it? So overwhelm is literally just fear of success. So we work on all of these different types of behaviours. It's different for everyone, like boundaries with clients, people pleasing. But again, all actually like what is at the root that's driving those sorts of behaviours. Wow. Control as well with teams. So individuals that struggle to delegate because of control. Usually control is a protective mechanism to keep people down here, because some people have a belief something bad's going to happen. Well, it's always going to go wrong or something bad's going to happen. So if they control everything, it keeps it down here. Because imagine if they did let go of control and they went up and they delegated and then something bad did happen, that drop is a lot worse than them taking control. So again, we shift the belief something bad will happen. Like loads of different things.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's like you've been here before, isn't it? To be able to know you're not... This doesn't mean sound patchy, but your age to have all this wisdom and to be able to help people. Because I'm presuming you're probably working with people probably double your age in some cases.
Double my age, double my income, everything.
But you've got the tools and the techniques because of your experience, and experience is everything over age. It really is.
And I have mindset coaching for 8. I've had so many sessions on me, like so many sessions.
Yeah, you've got to, haven't you?
I've walked the walk. And also as well, like, I think for my age and for like the success that I've had in such a short time, I lead quite well in the way of like, so for my boundaries, my clients, or I'm the one running the event, or I'm the one with the confidence. Like this year I went on a solo trip to New York. I danced in Times Square with a guy that I met at a dance, like a dancing in a rooftop bar the night before. Like I've done all these things that business owners would want to do. And I think that's where my success has really come from, is me showing and doing the things that they want to do as well. So it's all right saying, have a great mindset as a mindset coach, but then not having a great mindset yourself, walking the walk. So I think that's played a massive role in my success, is leading the way for clients as well.
Okay, I love that. So what was it that made you create the journal specifically?
So the journal, that came in again, like when I had therapy, and then obviously I created that off the back of what I'd learned. Sold out, and then I kind of made a renewed version of the journal. So we've got 2 journals. We've got like a mindset journal, which is all the stuff that I learned from therapy, like the self-worth work, the anxiety work, like I kind of think brain dumping, like daily journal, all these different kinds of things in one journal. And then everyone loved the daily journal sections, like in the morning, just writing 3 intentions, all of these different things in the morning. So I was like, right, okay, well, I won't change that journal, I'll just make a new one. So I made a second journal, which is Shift Your Energy, for brighter mornings and calmer evenings. And it's just a check-in, 5 minutes in the morning and a check-in 5 minutes in the evening. I do that every day. I absolutely love it. Like just 3 intentions for the day, non-negotiables.
So
it just sets your mind. And because, again, if we link this to mindset, like your subconscious, whatever you focus on, your subconscious looks for evidence for it. Like if I said to you, like, elephant on heels now. You can't not think of an elephant on heels. So that's so random. So it's really good just to actually, okay, what is my focus for today? What am I really focusing on? How do I intend to be today? How do I intend to feel today? And even without you realising, your subconscious has noted that. And it's like, right, okay, cool, you've asked for that. Right, let's go find it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people miss out on opportunities because they don't look for opportunities.
Yeah, they look for problems. And a lot of people start the day the complete wrong way, and they'll start going, oh, fucking traffic this morning, or my kid did this, or oh, fucking look at that, cancellations coming in again. And they just have all these negative things going off, and then all of a sudden the day is just going to shit. And then at the end of the day, they're just overwhelmed and stressed and fed up. And it's like, well, you didn't do your magic morning today, did you, hon? That's what I call it, a magic morning. Like, just have some time to get your shit together and set your intentions. Intentions are so powerful.
Yeah, they are.
And people are setting them in the wrong way all the time without even knowing they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's habit, and sometimes it is programming, and you've got to really step in and be aware to change it. So what advice would you give someone then who has never journaled, and they are really relating to what you're saying now, and they've never journaled and they want to just give it a go? Like, what would you say?
Okay, so if I was to say you want to journal and like a journal, then obviously, you know, where to come. But if I was to say, right, get out a piece of paper now and I want you to write down some journaling questions, these are the journal prompts that I really like. So intentions again. So I fully intend to be, do and feel. I love that. Like, because sometimes it's not just about what you do, it's who you are doing it. Like that's where it all starts, right? I love this next journal prompt. If your higher self was to walk into the room right now and she was to ask you 3 questions to help you either move through the current problem that you're facing, or, you know, move through your self-sabotage, or move through your complaining or your procrastination, what would she ask you? Like, so in that moment, let's just say that you're about to eat a packet of biscuits when you don't really want to, and you know you're not going to feel better afterwards. If my higher self walked into the room and she asked me 3 questions to help me move through that, what would she ask me? So instead of your initial, right, we're going to do that, it just gets you to pause, stop, and then think, okay, why am I actually wanting these biscuits? Like, why do I actually want these? Will they make me feel better? And what is it I'm gaining? Oh, I'm gaining comfort because I don't feel good. Okay, right. How can I sort out that then? Rather than just the immediate behaviour. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So those are just more like technical things. It's the same with like procrastination. If your higher self walked into the room and she asked you 3 questions to help you move through that, what would she ask you? Questions are so powerful because anyone can give you advice. This is where I don't give my clients advice. I'll never give them advice. I always ask them questions. Because advice is just projected based off your experience and what you know, right? So if you can ask yourself questions like, why am I doing this? Like, how am I feeling? What do I need right now is an amazing one. Like, so if you're feeling frustrated, well, if we look at the emotion frustration, it's you don't feel seen, heard or understood. So you ask frustration, the part of you, because you're not frustration. Like, I am not frustration. I am feeling frustrated right now. Okay, what does frustration need? I just need someone to listen to me. Okay, cool, now go and be listened to. So if you can ask these parts of you, the emotion, the overwhelm, the anxiety, the people pleasing, the imposter part of you, the fear part, what it needs, often just asking that one question, what do I need right now, solves so many things. So many things.
I love that. I think it's self-awareness, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah.
It's taking time out to be self-aware and check in and ask these questions, because so many people don't do it, and then they wonder why they're living in a state of constant anxiety or overwhelm or fear, because they're aware of how they're feeling and they know they don't like it, but they're not taking a moment to just slow it down and check in with themselves. So
because with those parts, so I call them, with NLP, it's like parts of you. So like overwhelm part comes in, or fear part comes in, or anxiety part. Like, I like to speak to that part rather than I'm so anxious and I'm so stressed. No, you're not. You're just feeling anxious because anxiety is coming in right now to tell you something. Okay, anxiety, like what do you need right now? What are you trying to protect me from? It's literally, it's got a positive role. Everyone sees these emotions are very negative. This emotion's only role is to help you. Literally to help you. Me telling myself that no one's going to buy tickets, for example, for my event, is this part coming in and telling me because it doesn't want me to get rejected, or it doesn't want the embarrassment of not selling tickets. It's just trying to protect me. But that's when you then work with these parts. So I always like to ask those parts. So what are you here for? Like, what's your intention of coming in right now? Like, overwhelm. What is it doing? It's trying to get you to stop, isn't it? It literally wants to give you a break, probably. Like, you literally when was the last time you had a break? Oh, no, I haven't. Okay, cool. That's why everyone's coming in. Or what are you protecting me from? And what do you need for me in order for me to move through this? Sometimes you just need support.
Yeah.
Or reassurance or
clarity.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. And then then the further question is like, well, how can I give myself that right now?
Yeah. Because a lot of times I see people overwhelmed, it's usually because they have a lack of clarity, a lack of plan, a lack of structure.
Yeah.
And they think of all that, because business owners have got like, there's a million things we can do. Yeah. But then they just blur and they sit down to work on the business, but there's no plan.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the daily plan is in the
But that's where their self-sabotage comes in by not planning.
Yeah.
Because not planning keeps them in overwhelm.
Yeah.
So it's sabotage.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you don't plan, then you can sit in overwhelm because you haven't got a plan. And like, well, that's why I'm overwhelmed. Because if you made a plan and then you did do it, then overwhelm would go. But if overwhelm's sole focus and purpose is to protect you from more success, because with more success comes more overwhelm, then are you going to go make a plan? Subconsciously, no.
I hope you're still following us, guys. It's deep, isn't it?
It is deep, yeah.
So let's say then that I'm an overwhelmed beauty business owner and I'm feeling really disorganised and I'm feeling stressed. What are the first few things that you would say I need to start doing to help me with that?
Yeah, so I think number one is catch yourself out that you are... It's subconscious, so it's hard because when you're overwhelmed, aren't you? But just you're choosing to sit in overwhelm. Because you have a choice. You can do something about it, right? So I think number one would be catching yourself out on it. Number two is watch your language. Oh my God, there's so many things to do. Everything's going wrong. Everything, like that language keeps you in the overwhelm. So I just watch your language around like what you're actually catastrophizing to keep you in overwhelm. And number three is go and write every single thing down that's in your head, every single thing down. And then what I like to do is I like to number them or group them together, right? I put the number ones, okay, content, edit, film, okay, they're the number ones. And then I put number ones together and then number twos together. And then a second tip, which is in this planner, is to just time the tasks. Next to each task in brackets, estimate time. Oh my God, I've got to put all the wash now. It's going to take me... No, it's not. Take 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's 5 to 10 minute job max.
So just put 10 minutes in brackets and it just reduces that overwhelm. Timing the tasks really helps. Okay. Like visualise it.
Cool. I like that. I really do. And I think brain dumping is one of my favourite tools. Yeah, one of my favourites. And it's practically what you're saying. If you're super overwhelmed, brain dump.
Yeah, just
get everything out on a piece of paper and group it and categorise it and then figure which one you're going to do. I'm going to take you next to it and stop fucking moaning about it and get on with it. I'm a bit more savage than you. Okay. On your social media, you are really relatable. You're out there. You're confident. I love to see it. Okay. How important do you think it is to be authentic on your social media as a business owner?
Oh my God. Like, it's mega important, because the parts that you are avoiding, the parts of you that you're avoiding showing brings in inauthentic people, and then you are connecting and relating to people on a version of you that doesn't even exist. So if you can show more parts of you, literally parts again, like parts of you, you bring in all these people who have a part of them that relates to that part of you. And then you build this really strong and deep relationship, and that's when you feel aligned in business. And alignment is so important, like in business. Like when things feel aligned, things feel easier, don't they?
Yes, so much easier.
So I think the more that you're avoiding showing those parts of you that people actually relate to, the more misalignment you're bringing into business, and therefore makes it harder for you. And then that's when you feel frustrated because you don't understand why business isn't going well. Oh, well, because you're not aligned.
But what about for those people that would say, well, I'm not confident on camera, or I don't look like I should, or my hair's a mess, or I'm actually really introverted? Like, is it still important for those people to show up authentically?
Yeah, again, like I said, with the whole, it's just your mind's just trying to protect you, because if you look at people with their friends, they're so authentic, aren't they? And they're like, it's almost like your inner child comes out when you're with your friend, isn't it? And that's what people love you for. She's a nightmare. She's naughty. But that's what your friends love about you. And and again, that's why they're your friends, because you're real with them. But I think with the confidence thing online, like, they should still try and be authentic. But again, it's so much easier said than done. Yeah. But it's just practice, and it's only scary because it's new, and your mind's maybe comes in from, like, a part of you comes in from school of like, oh, well, but you got bullied at school, so this part's coming from school, and it's like you put a camera in your face and this part goes, but remember when you got bullied at school, remember you got called names, well, I need to protect you from that happening again, so I'm going to tell you not to post on that or say that. It's literally just protecting you from the past. And if you can just remember that you know, these people online, or the people you connect with, aren't necessarily the same as that. Yeah. But it's just practice, isn't it? I suppose, with confidence, like, you've just got to do it. Like, it's like the first time public speaking, the first time going on stage, the first time going on a podcast.
It's awful, isn't it?
It is. It's just new. It's new.
Awful. And I remember the first time public speaking. Oh, voice shaking, hands trembling, sweating.
Yeah.
It's just awful. And if you don't push through it, you don't get through it.
No, you don't. And it's like I think it depends how much you want it as well. Like,
yeah, it's got a big. It does have a part to play. You have
got to have a wanting, because like if you don't want to push through the content online or push through the public speaking, like selling this event out was hella uncomfortable for me. But like my dream is to speak in front of thousands of people when I'm older. So I've got to do it. Like I've got no choice. And
that's no choice. That's what I'm like.
Yeah,
I've got
and
no choice.
it brings out the ambitious part of you. Like, okay, cool, this is hard, but fuck it, let's do it. Like, you know, I'm not born to just sit there in my bedroom.
But you are right. You've got to want it enough. I was talking about this with the last guest that was on today, and she was talking about she is so passionate about what she does because she genuinely loves it.
Yeah.
And
oh my God,
she so loves it. And if you don't love what you're doing, are you really going to push through that? And I don't think you should make decisions on this too quickly, listeners, because if you've just started out lashing or you've just started out doing nails, you probably don't genuinely love it right now because it's hard. It's a difficult little thing to crack. It takes time and patience. But you've got to have a passion for wanting to get better at it, or a passion for wanting to love it. Does that make sense? I'm not saying if you're not fully head over heels in love with it right now, quit. But if you've been at it for a while and you're not, it's probably not the path for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Don't try and push yourself to follow a path that you're not feeling, because that's just a shit path to me. Do you know what I mean? Where's the fun in that?
I think passion carries you through it.
Through the bad stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, the
because
uncomfortable stuff.
Because then the wins are so amazing and you're like, oh, that's why I'm doing this. Like, because the bad stuff, like, it does come, like the setbacks. And
of course it does, in any business. No matter what it is. There's going to be times where you feel imposter syndrome, where you feel uncomfortable, where things just don't feel good. And I think also a lot of that times is around your period for women.
Yeah, they get heightened.
Like,
whatever you're going through gets heightened.
Get heightened like by a lot when you're due on and stuff. So there's times that we need to kind of be patient and kind to ourselves and that. But without true passion for what you're doing, I think it's difficult to think, what is the reason for me to get on this camera now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why am I going to push through this discomfort? Why am I going to feel this fear and do it anyway?
Exactly, the why. That's what you've got to ask yourself. Why am I actually pushing through and doing this? Oh, because I love doing that. Or because that's
I
want
to be fully booked, or because I want a 5k a month or week business, or because I want to be self-employed. You've got to remember those things as well. I agree.
100%.
Why do you think that planning and productivity is important for business owners?
Good question. I think it's a double-edged sword. I think planning, obviously, going into the day, like, so for me, I like to make sure I've planned the next day the night before, so I wake up with
ready
clarity.
to go.
Ready to go, because then you get excited about the day.
Yeah, of course, especially when you love what you're doing.
Yeah, well, yeah. But waking up with that, like, because then it's so much easier to scroll, isn't it?
So much easier to procrastinate when you just
easy.
don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. So I think for that, obviously, very important. I think having like. I think a lot of people get into this habit of like putting so many things on their to-do list and then obviously getting overwhelmed and not doing it. I like to have, this is like I think we might be going on to like tips and stuff, but
we're going to go on to that. But go. It's next anyway, so we can roll into it.
So one thing for me is I have a small task list and an important task list, and it's in that planner. So small task list is anything up to 10 minutes, literally just like reply to that email, or reply to that message, or upload that story, whatever. And then my important task list is like my main like focuses for the day.
Yeah, so it's the things that are moving you forward.
Yeah, like deep work blocks.
Deep work, yeah.
So what I do is that small task list, I time all those tasks. So like, put the washing out, reply to that email, upload that story, 5, 4, 7 minutes. Okay, cool. And then I take that list and an hour in the morning, like maybe like 7 till 8 or whatever time I go up, 7 till 8, I'll do that whole list. Tick. You get a sense of achievement, validation,
easy,
reward, you're on fire, and then you're feeling good, right? Because you've got that dopamine hit, you feel good. And then I go into my deep work blocks, because the problem with deep work blocks is everyone task switches. They're like, oh, I need to do that, I need to do that, I need to do that.
because they want to avoid the deep work blocks, because they are the hardest ones
avoidance.
to do.
Yeah. So if you get that small task list done, first hour of the day, I call it small task list, tick everything done in an hour, then and then I have like 2 or 3, only 2 or 3 deeper work block focuses. It's like calls, like content, and then planning the event or something like that.
Yeah.
With breaks in between.
Yeah.
And that's how I run my day.
And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like less is more.
I remember reading a book once, I can't remember what the fucking book was called, I've read a million, but it said something on the lines of, it takes around 7 minutes for the human brain to get into a deep flow of work state. And in them 7 minutes, your brain is going to try to avoid the deep work state.
So
it's very clever. It is. And if you avoid those, like going down them other rabbit holes, and you stay into this and you get into your flow, you will be able to produce work at such a higher rate if you do it with no distraction.
100%.
What is your like strategy for no distraction in your?
So like I romanticize it. Okay. So biggest thing for me is making sure my environment is clean just before I go into work, because you sit down and then you're like, oh, go and do that. I need to go and put the dishwasher on.
Of course. Yeah.
I do that. I love to listen to jazz music. I put my headphones on, bit of jazz music.
I can't listen to anything. Silence for me.
Oh, well, if that works,
everyone's
that works.
different, aren't they? Yeah.
Bit of jazz music, light a candle, make sure my setup's nice, and then have my list of what I want to do in that work block. So, for example, when I was at university, it wouldn't be work block dissertation. I'm not going to get a whole fucking dissertation in a work block, am I? No. Work block, write 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Bang. So realistic work block, because then you actually enjoy it. You're like, oh, okay, I don't have to do my whole dissertation.
Yeah.
That's why you don't like the work block, because you overset your expectations.
Yeah, I love
really
that.
like that.
I love that. I'll share one of mine for the listeners as well, so you can kind of get everyone's like different opinions, because there's so many different ways. So I have what's called a power hour. I have multiple power hours every single day. So my power hours are times where it is a 60-minute block and it is a 60-minute block. So I've got to go to the toilet for my power hour, I've got to get a drink for my power hour, and I sit down at my desk. I've got Alexas everywhere in my fucking life. I sit down at my desk and I say, Alexa, set a timer for 60 minutes. My phone is not on my desk, it's away, or it's on flight mode if I really need it, but I usually don't. And my rule with myself is, unless my house is burning down, my ass does not leave that chair for 60 minutes until that Alexa goes off.
Yeah.
And when she beeps or she goes off, if I've not already completed whatever it was I was doing, I've got to have a 5 or 10 minute break. Get up, have a wee, have a drink, do whatever. And if I need to go back into a power hour again, I will do it. But my power hours are non-negotiable. Like, unless my house is burning, my ass is staying in that chair. And until that Alexa goes off, I'm not moving. And that for me, it's just like, I have to do all the things that I'm going to, like, oh, okay, dishwashing needs doing. Do that before your power hour. Do them things that are going to bug you, like the washing machine, put it on, whatever. Then sit down and, you're not allowed to leave the chair for 6 minutes. And I fucking fly through. I am so productive.
Exactly. And it feels good after. It's the same as like not wanting to go to the gym, but when you go, you feel better. It's the same as like pushing through that discomfort. It's so, like, it takes a lot of resilience, but like it's hard, but that's why it's hard, because you get to reap that amazing reward at the end. Another thing that I really like with productivity is incentive. A lot of people are like, I'm going to have a really productive week this week. I'm going to have a really productive week. I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do for yourself? Like, where's your incentive?
Where's your little treat?
So for me, I go to dance on a Wednesday evening, so I do salsa and bachata dance. So it starts at 9 till like 1 a.m. So Thursday, I know it's bizarre.
That's like devil work. I'd be fucking asleep.
Yeah, I know. At 9:30, I'm like, do I go?
1 a.m.
Yeah.
What are you doing in this place?
It's just social. It's freaking amazing.
Oh, I love that for you.
What I do is Monday to then Wednesday is incredible incentive, because I know Thursday morning is off.
Yeah, and you want and that's your balance.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then like the weekend I'd like go out for dinner or something, and then I have my Wednesday dance, Saturday dinner. That week, I love that week. Then I'm like business, dance, dinner. That week is just amazing, and it gives me so much incentive. And I think people forget that, it's got to be serious and you've got to be hardworking, but where you don't bring the fun into it. And that's why a lot of people get stuck in successes. They're like, they feel stuck. And I'm like, you're not having any fun. And fun also makes you happy, and you forget that. Business makes you happy, but so does
your soul food. I call it soul food, like the things that you do for you.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think that people should do more of that. Yeah. Because that does help you be more productive.
It does.
Like,
people forget that.
Yeah, they do. They think like there's a saying, isn't there? Rest is productive. Don't really actually is. Like, rest
I like rest equals
productive.
success.
Yeah, it really does. Like what did Deepak Chopra say? It's do a little, achieve a lot.
Yeah.
Do nothing, achieve everything.
Yeah.
As in, don't get so fucking involved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just don't do so much. That doesn't mean we've got to do stuff, right, to grow the business, but I think it's just on that energy output kind of perspective. It is, yeah. It's important.
I always like to think that if you look at what rest is actually doing for you, it's literally, so I think of it as like you have the productive part of you and you have the rest part of you. people like shit on the rest part. They're like, oh my God, I need to be so productive, because they get the validation of being productive and they get that, it's their ego and whatever. And their self-worth is tied to how productive they are. But that's where they get themselves stuck, because then they're like, they have to work to feel good enough. And they forget this rest part. But if you look at actually what rest is doing, it's re-energizing you, making you feel better, making your thoughts clearer, making, your everything clearer to help the successful part of you.
Yeah.
So while you're like shitting on the rest part of you, this part is literally trying to help you. And that's why people start scrolling when they're burnt out and they start snoozing their alarm. And that rest part is like, well, hello, you didn't let me in during the week, so I'm going to come in now and get what I need to re-energize you so I can help you. And when you start seeing rest as, oh my God, this part is literally trying to help me be more successful, you start working with yourself.
Seeing it in a different light. Yeah, I absolutely
100%. Agree.
Another thing that I like business owners to do is switch the notifications off on the phone.
Yeah.
Because you think you're resting because you sat on your sofa watching telly,
that.
but you sat on your sofa watching telly, answering 16 client messages, your kid comes in to show you a picture and you're like, oh, I'll look at it later because you're busy doing work, and you're like, you're not actually checking out. Like you're just working still, like, and you're not resting just because, so I think there's a lot to be said about switching off and resting, and like I say with soul food, like for you, your soul food, your dance, it's your friends, it's your food. For me, it's my horse, it's my family, it's like, so I make sure I get those times in. But for so many business owners out there, when I work with people, I usually say to them, I want you to do this circle of life, like kind of an analysis of where you're at right now, and where do you rate yourself 1 to 10 in these areas in terms of where's your happiness level kind of at. And honestly, 90% of the people who do that like kind of analysis rate their hobbies at 2 or less, because they're doing none. And like, oh well, when I was at school, so I had a member actually join my academy, and she was a really good dancer at school and she loved dance. As she got older, she had a kid, she didn't do it anymore, and I said to her, like, go back and do dance. Please go back and do it. She was like, oh, I dared. She actually did that. She danced for Rihanna once as well.
Wow.
And she actually went back to a dance class. I remember messaging me, she was shitting herself, so nervous because she was so out of it. Fast forward to now, she's opened her own dance academy. It's called Bougie and Heels. She teaches women, anyone really, but females, how to get comfortable and sexy in the heels to slow music.
Class.
She gets books out dance classes all the time, and she's like, that part of her now feeds her business because
it's a part
she's
of
so
it she's
fulfilled
lost,
in it. Yeah. So there's so, like, if you're listening to this and when you was at school you enjoyed dance or you enjoyed art or you enjoyed reading or you enjoyed whatever it is, please go back and do it. Please go back, book a lesson, book a one-to-one. Like, so many people like horse riding and they're like, oh, I've not rode since I was 7. I'm like, book a lesson. That's
why a lot of people get stuck in business, because they've lost a part of themselves, and it's like their subconscious is protecting them from losing more parts of themselves.
And do you know what excuse they use? But I love my business. My business is the one that fulfills me. I'm like,
no, your business brings you so much comfort because of how validated it makes you feel. It doesn't make you fulfilled if you're not doing things that you enjoy.
Yeah. And also, you've got to have, there's more to life than being fulfilled by a business. Like, I love, and you love your work and what you do. I fucking love it. And I could easily allow myself to work on it and on it and on it, like constantly with no break.
We'd never
But
stop
I know
then,
it would burn me out eventually. But if I just allowed that to be the only fulfilling part of my life, within time, I'm going to probably start resenting it.
And you won't be happy.
I won't be happy, so I have to go, like, business, I love you, but also friends, I love you, and my horse, I love you, and do you know what I mean, like cooking, I love you, or let's go from it. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, I've got to kind of, I have to train myself, because I'm a serial entrepreneur, probably like you are. And so many people that are listening to this, it's like, I live for it, I love it, I want growth, I want to experience it. And I'm obsessed with it. But I've got a few years under my belt now, and every time I've just allowed myself to run with that and not actually recuperate from that, or, you know, if I've not, I work with one-to-ones as well, like coaches and whatnot. A part of me eventually becomes overwhelmed and overworked and burnt out, and I need a long-ass break, and I fucking
And then
hate
it's
that.
like, well, I might as well have those intermittent breaks.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You either have your intermittent breaks, like you dance on a Wednesday, or you have a long stint of burnout. Both are giving you time off the business. You
You might as well
decide.
have more time to enjoy things. So
Yeah.
I think if we can start to change the industry's mindset and the business owners' mindsets to go from, I need to work to make this business happen, to I need to work, rest, work, rest. Maybe it's just a song. Get a DJ in here. But do you know what I mean? Like, that is actually what we want you to do. Like, I'm not denying it and you the same. Like, we have to take a lot of action to get results. We do.
Yeah.
Action is important. We've got to do a lot of it.
Yeah.
But what good is action if you're not in alignment?
No, exactly, yeah. And when you're burnt out, you're not aligned.
No, and you're taking stupid fucking action because you're stupid ideas in your head because you're burnt out.
And you're desperate.
And you're desperate. Yeah, it's just like icky energy. Like, we don't need that. I love it. Okay,
yeah.
loving this combo. What are your top 3 favourite productivity hacks?
Oh, okay. One that people just generally miss off is when you write your plan, is timing, or putting in time for eating, making food, like walking to the gym or training or showering. Like, everyone jam packs their plan. I'm like, when are you going to shower? And they're like, oh, I forgot that. And then what they do is they go and shower, then they run over their plan, and then they go into all nothing mindset, like, well, the day's fucked. And it's like, well, no, it's not.
Yeah.
You did that.
I never get my plan completed. Well, I'm not surprised because you've got so much on it and no time to breathe. Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, so that's just a planning technique. The timing task one I think is really good if you struggle with overwhelm.
And when you say timing tasks, that's where they write the little tasks, all the tasks out, put how many minutes it's going to take next to it, group it together, bosh it out in the morning.
And then it becomes fun because it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to get all this done in an hour. Like, you get that excitement of like knowing that you're going to get it done. Yeah. Another one, getting ready for the day. Like, getting ready for the day. Like, this morning, I didn't want to get ready for the day. I was like, oh, I don't want to get ready for the day. And I was like, okay, victim part, like, we're not coming in today. Like, no, come on. I got ready for the day and then I suddenly feel better. Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like, then you're so much more productive.
Even if that just looks like jumping in the shower, brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, putting it back. Doesn't mean you have to get your makeup on or anything. It's just like, pop a bit of moisturiser on, get dressed, you're ready for the day.
Do you know what I did? I brought 12 pairs of trousers on. Well, these are from Aritzia, but I brought 12 pairs of trousers from ASOS. No, 7 pairs, sorry, 7, not 12. 7 pairs, 1 for every day.
Same.
And it's just so easy now. Like, I'm not allowed to think what to wear.
I wear black leggings Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Because I can't be arsed with the decisions on what I'm going to wear. Like, I can't be arsed with that.
No.
I am black leggings, long sleeve top, hoodie or jacket.
Yeah.
Trainers or rugs, let's go.
Yeah, get ready.
Sometimes Crocs.
Just put a little
sometimes
outfit
Crocs
on.
if I'm feeling sexy. Disclaimer, I only wear Crocs to the salon and the horse yard, and that is it.
The horse yard.
Yeah, I do, but then I change into my horse riding boots when I get there. But anyway, it's like, I love that. It's that you go to your wardrobe. Who needs to wear fucking jeans? I'm only wearing jeans today because I'm on a fucking podcast. I had like leggings on before you came. But it's true. It's like, get comfy, make your job in the morning easy.
Yeah.
Some people really like fashion though, so they do want to take time out. I'm not that girl.
No,
I'm not that girl. I'm just like black naked leggings.
Yeah.
I wear black. I've got about 9 pairs of black naked leggings, and just these Skims tops, every single motherfucking colour you can imagine.
Yeah.
And just my basic bitch bras, socks and boots. Let's go. That's it. Done.
Yeah, but it's just that effort, effort in the morning.
Sorry, I way interrupted your answer to that question.
That's fine. Another productivity thing is the morning routine thing.
Yeah.
I don't like an excessive morning routine because I can't stick to
15-20 minutes is enough.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
it. Vibration raiser, let's go. Yeah.
Journal, planner there in the morning, quick check over the plan. Yep, cool, know what I'm doing. Quick 5-minute check-in with Shift Your Energy, journal, get up, get changed, into my office.
Yeah.
Bang.
Another little tip I've got for the listeners is when you do write out your plan, I take a photo of it. Because I'm probably going to leave my plan somewhere in part of the day. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, so I just take a photo of it and then it's on my phone.
Yeah.
So if I get to the office and like my plan's in my car or whatever, I've got my plan. My plan's there.
Yeah, that's so true.
So that works.
What else do I like? Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much everything.
Oh, another question I've got here. This is a good one. I've seen online, you talk about people launching things before they're ready to launch things. What do you mean by that?
So I think a lot of people have a huge emphasis on having the right strategy and making sure everything's organised and everything's set up and, doing this, But I think a lot of people pass a lot of weight of their success onto strategy, forgetting that they're the people that actually lead the strategy. So, for example, I'll just give you the example of an event. Anyone can run an event. Anyone can create an email flow to sell some tickets. Anyone can create a website and a landing page and checkout cart to sell some tickets and follow-ups and But if they don't want to come and listen to you because you're not that interested or you don't, you're not selling it with the confidence, you can't just rely on the strategy.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people like wait until everything's perfect, because it takes that emphasis off them. And it's like, oh, well, when this is perfect, then it won't mean so much about me if it goes wrong, So like, I think when you wait too long, when you try and perfect everything too much, you're placing a lot of your like self-worth on then the results and the outcome. But what I like to do is just, when I move very quick in business, I'm very speedy, like, because I know it's going to work because of the mindset work that I've done, the self-belief that I have. But I'm a responder, so I like to do a little bit of prep, like make sure obviously you've got your strategy, but launch it and then go.
Yeah.
And I lead that launch, for example. So it's me that leads the launch rather than relying so much on that. And I think like doing something and then making it work after, I'm more of a responder in that sense. Like, because if you are waiting, are you just avoiding the discomfort of doing it?
Yeah, 100%.
And you're just gaining a lot of comfort through planning, and planning is safety to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if it needs a plan, it needs a strategy. It depends what industry you're in, it depends what you do, of course. But if you're gaining a lot of comfort and safety from not just doing it, then you're attaching a lot of yourself and your identity and your worth to the outcome of that, and that's when it becomes a problem for a lot of people.
I agree. I remember I can't remember exactly where I was. I think I was at a horse show. Anyway, there's a woman next to me and she was talking about life. I talk to anybody and everyone about everything. And I remember her saying to me, like, she started her own business and she was doing crystal Reiki massages and whatever. I didn't tell her like I was a beauty business coach or anything like that because I'm not at work. And she said, yeah, I've been qualified now for 6 weeks. She said, I'm just waiting on my logo to finish and then I'm going to start on social media.
Yeah.
It's like, your fucking logo. I was thinking, your
logo isn't selling your brand out.
I built 2 7-figure businesses and never had a professional logo designed. I've done them on Canva, both.
Yeah.
2 7-figure companies.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Canva.
Yeah,
both
that's what I mean.
Like, what do you mean? You've been ready to go for 6 weeks and you're waiting for a logo?
Yeah.
Go.
I need to check my hex code colours
yeah,
on my brand.
It's just like, oh, I'm just waiting for this to happen before I can put myself out there on social media. They're just on the edge of the cliff, and I get it.
Yeah, it's
and
hard.
you got to just push them.
Yeah.
But people are scared of falling when they might soar. Do you know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah. No, that's what it is. So that it's like that you're passing blame onto other things.
It's procrastination, isn't
it?
it?
It's avoidance.
Yeah.
And that's what I say. It's like, I like to say yes and make it work. So I launched mindset coaching straight out of university, straight out of university, and then just went for it because it is a journey. It's not like that one launch is going to dictate if I'm a successful mindset coach or not. And I think that's
of course, you've got a million launches to go.
It's like, and it's a journey, and and you go through setbacks and growth and setback and growth along the whole way. So like dictating everything on this, like it's just perfectionism. It's avoidance. Yeah. It's lack of self-worth.
So how do we push through that? If someone's listening to this and they're like, oh yeah, that's me, what do I do?
It is pushed.
Well, it might be mindset coaching. Coaching is
it's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Like, I could not be without a coach.
No.
I am a coach and I've got a coach.
Same.
And my coach has got a coach.
Same.
And my coach has got a coaching, I think, and is absolutely critical, whether that's mindset coaching one-to-one with someone, whether it's reading a book, whether it's listening to a podcast, whether it's journaling. You can coach yourself too if you haven't got the funds available to get a coach. Like, we all have to start somewhere, but I think coaching is very important. It's accountability, it's education, it's knowledge, it's push, it's support, it's everything. I really do. Look at the top people in the world, bloody singers, sports players, they all have a coach. Everybody should have a coach on some form of level, in my opinion. Like, because it's that person you look to for that confidence or for that, do you know what I mean? That support.
And it just creates safety in what you're doing. So like, if I go to my coach, I'm like, I want to do this, and she's like, right, cool, let's do it. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Is that it? Is that all I need to do? Yeah, okay, let's go.
And then it lifts you up rather than, if you tell your family members and then brings you down. Like,
exactly.
Telling people who are ahead. Like, that's one tip as a business owner. One like real big tip for me that I've learned is I am very, very careful with who I tell my goals to. Like, I have 2 sets of friends, and I only tell my business goals, my financial goals, everything to someone who is ahead of me. Someone who goes to me and goes, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
More than that.
Sick, let's do that. Like, do it. Like, let's go. Like, do it, because their goals are so fucking big as well. And that lifts me up mentally. And I think a form of self-sabotage that people don't realise that they're doing is going and telling their goals to people they know will shut them down, or know they'll say, oh, that's a risk, because then it keeps them in the shell. And then they're like, oh, but I can't do it now. I was like, well, no, everything's self-sabotage.
Yeah, no, totally agree. So how do you make sure to balance your business from your personal life and allow space to do other things that fulfill you? So I know you said, didn't you, about the Wednesday, Saturday thing. Is there anything else that you do because we both spoke about being serial entrepreneurs, haven't we? So is there anything else, any other little strategies you have? Like, do you have a switch off time at night where you won't work on your business anymore? Do you have, like for me, I have like a little winter ritual, and it's always a bath in the winter. Yeah, so my bath is like my... let's switch off now.
Yeah, and then, you have to switch off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then
can't read your laptop in the van.
Yeah. Well, I've probably done that before many times, but it's that intentional action that I'm taking, which is me saying to my body and my brain, "Time to slow down."
Yeah, I love
Do you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah, intentional rest. I always like to say the intentional rest breeds intentional productivity as well, because then you're like, well, I don't have as much time now if I'm having this rest in the evening. So for me, I'd say for that answer to that is downtime in the evening, like spending time to cook or to just watch a YouTube or like, but again, it's so easy just to go on your phone, but you have to catch yourself out and be like, no, actually I want to watch a YouTube video, and then actually enjoy it. Do you know what as well is like surrendering to the rest, like, okay, actually, you know what, I'm going to watch a YouTube video because I want to watch a YouTube video. And you know what? I actually really want to watch a YouTube video. And I'm going to put this YouTube video, I'm going to just really enjoy this. And then when you just actually allow yourself to enjoy it, it becomes enjoyable. Shock. And then you wake up the next day, and then what happens is you feel really rested, really productive, like really switched on, really da-da-da. And then what I like to do is I like to find evidence that last night's rest has helped me today. To create evidence in my mind that rest equals success. So what I did one day, like I was feeling a bit rubbish, and I was like, right, do you know what, I'm going to take the afternoon off. I watched Gossip Girl all day. The next day, I got 4 clients. I was stronger in the gym. I like smashed through productivity, everything. I felt amazing. So then I equated those results the next day to my rest in the afternoon. And then I've created evidence since rest equals success. So every time I'm like, oh, I don't want to rest because I need to, I'm like, no, remember that time when you did that and that happened? Yeah. Rest also equals success, and I like to create evidence for it. And
I suppose there's a fine line there, because some people may decide to take that information that you've just said
and procrastinate
and procrastinate, or use it as an excuse. They might be like, oh, well, you know, I haven't worked on my business for 3 days, but I listened to that podcast and they said rest is success. I think you've got to ask we know deep down, we know deep down, am I resting because I need this and I want this so that I can just have this time? Or am I saying I'm resting, but I'm doing a lot of fuck all because...
I love that.
Yeah.
Again, ask yourself the question.
Isn't it?
We do know, because you have that gut feeling, don't you?
We know.
And you're like, I know I'm avoiding this right now because... And then you make the excuse. So just asking yourself that question.
And I also want to say, if you find yourself feeling guilty because you're resting, you need to do some work.
Yeah, oh my God.
Because people come to me and they say, like, I feel guilty when I'm not... And listen, it's normal as well, like, you're not going insane. But people who genuinely feel guilt because they're resting or they're taking time away from work have developed a belief that rest is not productive and rest is dangerous, or rest is... And that's not it's not a great place to be, because it does lead to burnout, doesn't it? So what's your thoughts on that? Have you experienced people who say like, oh, I feel guilty if I'm not resting?
And it's just that, it's that whole, they've attached so much of their identity and their worth to how productive they are and how successful they are. Therefore, to feel enough and to feel okay, they have to be working. So I think the guilt just comes in as a role. The guilt's role is just to come in and go, hello, come on, keep working. Come on, like, get up, move. Come on, like, you need to feel good enough. Like
that Sergeant Major, like, oh, go, give me 10 burpees. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what it's like,
but the
isn't
intent,
it?
if you get it, like, I get it, the intention's positive, but then that's when you say to guilt, like, okay, like, thanks for that, but if we do that, we'll burn out, and then we'll be resting anyway, and then you'll come in again. So I, as self, I like to call it self, confident, I am me, as higher self business owner today, I'm going to choose to take this time off. Thank you, guilt, for coming to protect me right now. I don't need you. Because it's going to make me more productive. And then the more evidence you create, the guilt does lessen over time. It's just uncomfortable. Everything's uncomfortable initially.
It is. There's a lot of uncomfort. I always say on every level there's a new devil.
New devils.
Literally every bit of growth you have, please just get comfort with it, because there's going to be another and there's going to be another.
100%.
We're here to grow and evolve. That's why we're humans. Do you know what I mean? We're not here to just play it safe.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely not. Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. I think this has been a very valuable episode for people that have been listening. So
a lot of value in there.
Yeah, loads of value in there, loads. And that's
your pen and paper out.
Get your pen and paper out, re-listen to it a few times, go and check Katie out on her socials. And yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure.